Think of an American family enjoying a lovely weekend in the beautiful landscapes of Georgia. One of the favorite spots there is Clark's Hill Lake. You can find groups of friends spending time together, kids playing around, and adults enjoying the stunning views. Millions of people go to Clark's Hill Lake every year to have fun and take the stress of daily life out of their bodies. But deep in the bottom of the lake, drowned after 2 centuries of existence, lies an incredible story. It is the story of families and friends from another time. It is the story of a forgotten place, Petersburg, the ghost town. Welcome to Intrigued Mind, and join us today on a journey through the mysterious story of the ghost town that rests at the bottom of Clark's Hill Lake. Lake Thurmond is the official federal name of the lake commonly known as Clark's Hill Lake, in honor of Senator Strom Thurmond. It is a reservoir on the Georgia-South Carolina border in the Savannah River Basin. The reservoir was created during 1951 and 1952 by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers near the confluence of the Little River and the Savannah River. At 71,000 acres, it is the 3rd largest artificial lake east of the Mississippi River, behind the Kentucky Lake on the Tennessee River and Lake Marion on the Santee River. The Strom-Thurmond Dam is located upstream from Augusta, Georgia. Millions of people yearly utilize the many public parks, marinas, and campgrounds around the lake. These areas are perfect for developing outdoor recreational experiences, making the lake one of the 10 most visited Army Corps of Engineer projects. The project was officially authorized in a document that outlined the basin's plan for power production, incidental flood control, and navigation. Later, recreation, water quality, water supply, and fish and wildlife management were added to its purposes. There you can enjoy a nice walk in the woods, explore the area, find charming old houses, beautiful wooden bridges, and exciting boat trips on the river. Also, there are typical park amenities such as fishing spots, barbecue grills, and large campsites. Families from Georgia and the entire country choose this area as one of their favorite spots for holidays. But today's visitors are not the first people building their memories there. Many of them probably don't know what was going on at the bottom of their favorite lake. Drowned underwater lies a story from the origins of the United States. A story that is not about visitors or tourists, but actually about a real community. The ruins of a forgotten place. The ghost town of Petersburg. Long before fish made their homes in the beautiful Lake Strom-Thurmond, people lived, worked, raised their families, and fell in love all beneath those waters. In colonial times, there was a British outpost called Fort James. It was a 1-acre site along a plateau overlooking the 2 rivers, guarded by 50 rangers. After the American Revolution, mostly white settlers from Virginia and North Carolina established a frontier community known as Goose Pond. One of them was Dionysius Oliver, a Revolutionary War veteran that, in 1786, set up a tobacco inspection warehouse on his property. Most of the Broad River Valley citizens were then planting tobacco, so the warehouse project became a plan to build an entire village on the small peninsula. The name chosen was Petersburg, after Oliver's hometown in Virginia. They had a post office, newspapers, mercantile firms and businesses, taverns, a town hall, and even a jail. Petersburg also boasted a seamstress shop, a cabinet shop, a tailor shop, horse stables, a few schools, and a church. Some families moved to the town, and others were formed there. It was the starting point for a generation of people spending their lives in that place. They laughed, cried, hated, and loved in a town that was part of the foundation of a free America. The citizens of Petersburg were described as respectable, intelligent, and hospitable. The city was treated favorably in an early travel guide, recovered from 1801. The document characterized Petersburg as a beautiful city that increased in attractiveness over the years. Petersburg still holds a unique honor. It is the only town in American history to have two senators, William Bibb and Charles Tate, who served at the same time. The growth and development of Petersburg were pushed by the existence of two similar towns, named after European capitals, Lisbon, just across the Broad River, and Vienna, on the opposite side of the Savannah River in South Carolina. Both Lisbon and Vienna were visible from Petersburg and connected with a ferry service. They competed for trade and business, but shared similar cultures and lifestyles. The trade of tobacco was the beating heart of the golden years in Petersburg. It was packaged in wooden barrels and sent down the rivers in flat-bottomed St. Petersburg ships, propelled by currents and poles, operated by a crew of 5 or 6 hands. Speculation increased tobacco and land prices, so the town's population swelled to 750 inhabitants by 1800, in the middle of 2 decades of prosperity for Petersburg. The dream of Petersburg began to fade in the late 1820s. Farmers abandoned tobacco cultivation for cotton, which did not need an inspection. The railroads completely bypassed the region, and steamboat navigation in the rivers was impossible due to the rocky banks and shallow waters. Periodic outbreaks of yellow fever worsened the situation and hastened the town's decline. Many people moved to the newly opened lands in western Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. By the time the Civil War started, only 3 families remained in Petersburg. In the spring of 1865, Confederate President Jefferson Davis and his cabinet crossed the Savannah River below the town, fleeing from federal troops. The Confederate government dispersed its treasury of gold and silver to accompanying troops and, according to some accounts, cast the golden seal of the Confederacy into the Savannah River. With the end of the Civil War, those last 3 families disappeared, and with them, Petersburg was finally empty. The remnants of Petersburg succumbed to Clark's Hill Lake's waters when the Corps of Engineers built the reservoir during the early 1950s. When the residents left, and before the flooding, more than 50 graves and ornate tombstones were moved from the 2 cemeteries to nearby churchyards. Unfortunately, those were the only graves found. The rest were left and soon covered by water. The ghost town of Petersburg is now mostly submerged by Clark Hills Lake, but visitors to Bobby Brown State Park can see foundations during low water. Maritime historians and archaeologists conducted a multidisciplinary investigation on the submerged ruins in 1988. Bobby Brown State Park in Elbert County is the name of the outdoor recreational area that nowadays manages the place. Thousands of visitors came every year to enjoy the beautiful landscapes. Entire families choose this place year after year, building memories that will last their whole lives. When they remember happy moments with their loved ones, the Bobby Brown State Park will be the scenario. In 2002, the region had a drought that lowered water levels by almost 15 feet, and the underwater ghost town of Petersburg was exposed once more. Foundations, fences, old roads, pottery, broken glass, rusty spikes and iron all became visible. allowing many people to glimpse into a town that was once thriving hundreds of years ago. To visit Bobby Brown State Park is not the only way to discover the remnants of Petersburg. YouTuber Clint Braswell recorded it with a drone to tell with images this unique story. Clarks Hill Lake also harbors an underwater fleet of sailboats, runabouts, and rowboats. It is also possible to find a boat lift, 2 jet skis, a snowmobile, and sleds. They are tied up at their own underwater yacht club near their dock 20 feet underwater. The ghost town under the lake is today used as a training spot for diving clubs like Divers Mast, who train at Clarks Lake. Over time, divers gathered these sunken vessels, placed them in a formation, and tied them together. The town's site is accessible to visitors through a wooded path that leads to the lake shore. The history of Petersburg connects us to the origins of the United States and allows us to feel the passage of time. Knowing stories like this ghost town is a way to follow the pulse of history. It is a way to appreciate those who, centuries ago, began to build the present. In a mysterious way, the dreams of those who once inhabited Petersburg connect with those who today enjoy Clarks Hill Lake. Everyone together in the search for happiness, on a weekend holiday or in a whole lifetime. For more videos on the most amazing forgotten parts of history, be sure to subscribe to the Intrigued Mind channel. Like the video and leave your suggestions in the comments below.